Hey guys, it's Denise from LoomaHat.com, and on this video we're going to be making the Minnie Mouse hat, and I'm going to show you how to make this border with the chain cast on, and this is your rib stitch, and then we're going to do a continuous garter stitch all the way up. And here, instead of doing the regular animal ears that are loom knitted, I find they just take longer, and I don't know, I wanted to try something different, and so I used pom-poms for the ears instead of loom knitting, and I really like the way it turned out. These are two types of yarn, and I find that makes it a little more interesting as well. I also, I don't know, I didn't want to loom knit the bow either. I don't know, maybe for another project I'll do that. But in this one, I wanted something quick and easy, and wrapping the yarn around a cardboard made for this really cute bow that I have to say, even though it was really quick, I'm really happy with it myself. You can do a loom knitted bow if you want, but I found this turned out really good, and it was quick and it was easy. So those are the steps we're going to follow to get this really cute little hat done. And one more thing, I do like these for the polka dots. Minnie Mouse has polka dots on her outfit, and so polka dots are always good. And I didn't want to make the little pom-poms. These are hard to make this small, and I didn't want to put buttons, and so I couldn't figure out what to do. And I had these little tiny pom-poms that you buy. They come in a bag, and you can sew these on, or you can hot glue them to your thing. Make sure that you use a low temperature glue gun, and you can glue them, even though I'm not a fan of this, only because these are baby hats, and so I don't really like the glue issue on them. But that is an option. But you can sew them, which I think is your best bet. And you don't have to use these if you don't want to, but if you're doing Minnie Mouse does have polka dots on her outfit. Okay, so let's get started. The one that I'm knitting for this video is a different color, just because yellow happens to be my favorite color, and I don't know, I wanted to do something different. So don't freak out when you see that the colors are different. Okay, let's get started. I'm using the red Nifty Knitter loom because it's for a baby, but it's not a newborn. This is the 31 peg, I believe. Yeah, 31, 34, I think it's 31. And I'm going to start with the rib stitch. So for those of you that know me, know that I have like mild ADD and I can't focus really good. So I always mark my looms because I'll forget where I left off. And since the pattern calls for knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one, I use these braiding rubber bands to help me figure out where I left off. And with this loom at the end, you're gonna have an extra one. Just what I do with that, because I find the purl doesn't stand up as much as the knit, so those last two I make them purls. You can make those last two knit or whatever you want. For me, this works. Okay, so I start off by marking my loom, and then I'm going to do the chain cast on. So let me show you how to do that. To do the chain cast on, you need a crochet hook, and it should be the appropriate one for the for your yarn. This is a worsted weight yarn, and so whatever yarn you're using, just make sure that the crochet hook you use is the appropriate one for that yarn. Now with the chain cast on, you're knitting on the inside of the loom. So here's your outside. We're going to be working on the inside, and you're going to start as always by making your slip knot, And you can put it on the first peg, or you can put it on your actual crochet hook. I don't really think it matters. I don't know, for some people it does, but for me it doesn't. And then you're going to put this on the inside, okay? And you're always going to be working in between your pegs. So you started off with your first one, and you have your crochet hook facing up, and you're going to grab your yarn and you're going to put it through this loop. Okay, that first one's a little tricky. And by the way, turn your crochet hook inward. That first one's kind of tricky. Okay, so you got the first one. You're going to turn it, because if you don't, you're going to lose your loop. So grab your yarn with your crochet hook facing up, grab it, and then turn it and bring it in. See that? Okay, so do the same. Grab that crochet hook, turn it, and bring it in. And then just tighten up your work so it comes out right. Okay, and then you just keep doing that until you get to that last peg. And I'm going to show you what you do, because you don't keep doing this on the last peg. You're going to do something different. Okay, so just remember to hook it, turn it, pull it. Alright, and I'll see you back at this last peg, which is right here. I'll see you back there. I'm back here at the front, and so I do my last one, and then this one here, I'm not gonna knit it. I just take off my crochet hook, and I take that last loop and I put it here, and then I bring up my yarn to the back. Okay, and now I'm ready for my next step, which is wow, I should have started here. Okay, but I started here instead. No big deal. So I'm going to start off with my first one, which should have been a knit, but it's a purl, because I should have been starting here, but I'm here. So I'm going to purl, and the way you purl is that you put your knitting on top. Sorry. You put your knitting on the bottom. I don't know what's wrong with me today. I'm just going crazy. Okay, so I'm going to purl by putting my working yarn on the bottom. I take my hook, I go get it, I loop it up, I create a new loop. I take my old loop off my peg and put the new loop on. Okay, you got that? That's how I did a purl. And now here I'm going to do a knit, and I'm doing a regular knit with a U-wrap. And the reason it's called a U-wrap is because I formed a U when I put my yarn on there. And so since I'm doing a rib stitch, which the pattern is knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one, so I purled, I knit, I purled, and again I knit using a U-wrap. And you can do whatever knit you're comfortable with. This one seems to work for me. I like it, and so that's why I use it. Okay, so keep going, and we're gonna do 10 rows of the rib stitch pattern, which is a knit one, purl one. And by the way, I always suggest that when we're working on a project, you stop by the website and pick up a copy of the pattern. You can print it out, and it makes following me on this video a lot easier. You don't have to, because I'm going to go through every single step. I'm even going to tell you I'm even going to tell you how many rows for each step. It's just easier, okay? And you get like a head start, and you know what I'm going to do next. Alright, so let's do the 10 rows of the rib stitch, which is the border, and then we're going to be back for this top part. Okay, I'll see you then. Okay, so I finished my rib stitch my 10 rows of rib stitch, and now I'm ready to go to the second part, which is this top part here, and we're going to be doing a garter stitch, which is 1 row of knit, 1 row of purl, 1 knit, 1 row of purl. Okay, so we're going to get started with that. So we're going to do 40 rows of that garter stitch, but the first thing we need to do is to change the color. So I cut my yellow, and here's my other color, and yeah, it's a little funky, but like I said, I wanted to change it up. Alright, so what I do to change colors is that I make a slip knot on that next color, and this is where I wanted to start. So I place that slip knot with this little string going in to the left, and this string to the back, and I place that loop where I want to start, and I take my 2 strings and I tie them. Doesn't need to be you know, like a super knot or anything. It's just to make sure that it doesn't get crazy on you. So I do that little knot, and that's it. That's where I start now, right? With my next knit. And from this point on, for the garter stitch, we're gonna use the E wrap, and so we're gonna do it like this. And the reason I'm not doing the U wrap here is because I want this knit to be looser so that it pops up a little more, and so that's why I'm going to do the E wrap on my knit stitch, and then you know that your next row will be a purl, because this is the garter stitch, and garter stitch is knit 1 purl, knit 1 row completely, purl 1 row completely. And I already showed you how to do the knit and purl. Again, the only difference here is that I don't want you to U wrap, I want you to E wrap. And as you can see, these little shapes look like E's. The other one that we did for here, which is a tighter stitch, is that we did a U wrap like this. Alright, so do your 30 rows, which right now you're on row 10. You're going to do, this is your row 11th, and you're going to keep knitting until you have a total of 40 rows, unless you want to make your hat a little bigger. That's fine, you know, that's your choice. And we're going to meet up again to close the hat. So I did my 30 rows of the garter stitch, and I'm ready to close my hat, and I use the gathered I use the gathered method, or gathering method, or you know, whatever you want to call it, to close my hat. And so I there's more than one way that you could do it. You could do it with a needle, and then just thread the needle and put each you know, loop from your peg on your needle. That's one way to do it. And normally that's how I do it, but I don't do it that way anymore. I kind of have grown to like doing it this way, where I use my my hook, and I just grab my yarn. After by the way, I go around 1.5 times, and then I cut my yarn off. Okay, that's what I start with. And once it's cut, I just, like if I was gonna purl, I grab my yarn with the hook and I pull it. And you could pull it off like right now, or you could pull it off at the end, whichever one is better for you. But this is how I'm doing it now, and like I said, you guys can do it with a needle if you want. I'm into not having to have more than necessary, so since I already have my hook in my hand, I find that I just use my hook to do this, and it works for me. Alright, so keep going until we get back to the front, and let's meet up there. Okay, so here's the last part, and your hat is ready to come off the loom. That was the last one. and you can get rid of your loom, and you're going to close your hat. And this is why it's called gathered, because you gather all of those loops and you're going to make a little hole. So take your yarn and turn your hat around with the inside out. And go ahead and pull everything tight, 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 tight. Yep. Makes you sound kind of Chinese, huh? So you're going to put everything real tight, and then, yeah, make a knot. Like so. Okay, so you can make your knot any way you want. This is the way I do it. And if you were going to put a pom-pom on your hat, which you're not because you're going to put a bow, you can bring this back out to the front and attach your pom-pom to that. But in this case, we're not going to put a pom-pom, so you can cut this and then just weave the ends in, okay? Your hat is, your basic hat is finished. And now we're going to move on to putting the rest of the hat together, which are your attaching your pom-pom and your bow. So we're wanting to attach the bows, and if you don't know how to make pom-poms, I'm putting a link on the description, and I'll give you a link here to go to the website and find, there's like 5 or 6 different ways to make pom-poms, including using your hand, using a cardboard, all kind of stuff. I like to use the clover to make mines. They come out the same size, and I just find that it's much easier, and this lasts forever. I don't have to keep making cardboard circles. I just use this, and it's real easy. And I did make a tutorial on how to use the clover. So like I said, stop by the website. In the search box, just put pom-pom, and you'll find that there's, like I said, 5 or 6 different methods to make the pom-pom. For me, I use the clover, and this is what I get. Okay, so I have my 2 strings on my pom-pom, and the purpose is to remember that you're gonna put a bow here. So you need space for the bow, like this. And so considering the width of your bow, that's how you decide where to put the pom-pom. And I used this was an old box that I had for videos. This is when I was attempting to learn line dancing, and this was an old VHS. So guess what? I don't have this anymore, and no, I never learned how to line dance, but that's irrelevant. Anyway, so I used this box, and it was this wide, and so I just halved it, and this is what I used to make the bow, and I'm going to show you how to make the bow. But this gives you a good guide as to how far apart you're going to put your pom-poms. Okay, so you can take whatever you're going to use to make your bow and just put it on your hat in the middle, and that gives you a good idea of where you want to put them. See, like right here, I'm going to put my first one there, and then I'm putting the next one over here. So here's my first one. This is where I want it, right here, right there, based on the width that I'm going to make my bow. And I just use you could use your hands to feed the yarn through, or you could just use a crochet hook and use that to feed your strings. Feed them one at a time, and feed them in separately. So there was my first one, which is in here, and then I'm going to go get the second string, which I'm going to use another section of the hat to feed the second one in. So I feed it in like that, And now I have both strings on this side. See, there they are. And so now all I have to do is make a knot right here to secure my pom-pom. And I'm gonna double knot it. But before I double knot, I come back and I take a look and make a decision. Is this where I want my pom-pom? Right? Am I happy with that? And if I'm happy with where my pom-pom landed, well, where I attached my pom-pom, I come back here and I make the second knot. Cool. Okay, and then I'm just gonna cut that and weave the rest in, and I'm gonna do the same thing I just did on this side. I'm gonna do it on that side. Okay, come back when I have both ears on. Okay, I wanted to give you a little footnote here. Sorry about that. If you find that your pom-pom is moving around too much, bring your strings back out again and just wrap them like this, the inside, and then put another knot, and that's gonna get your pom-pom a little tighter. Okay, that's if you feel like it didn't tighten up enough. Just bring it out from different loops, wrap your string that you used, and then just tighten it up more, and that'll tighten up the pom-pom even more. All right, okay, so and then when you're done, of course, take your strings and push them back in to the other side, because you don't want them showing up. Okay, and there your two ears are nice and secure, right? And now we're gonna move on to the bow. Okay, so you have your string and the correct color that you want to make the bow. And the first thing everybody asks is, how many times do you go around? Well, I would tell you that you go around as many times as you need to in order for the bow to look the way you want it to look. That's different for me than for you. It might be the same, I'm not sure. I would tell you to go around a minimum of 10. You can go as many as 15, or you could just get buck wild and just, you know, never stop. That's really a thing of preference. For me, I know I want it about, you know, an inch, about an inch and a little over an inch in width. So I keep going around until I see an inch of yarn, and I see it together and it looks the way I want it to look. That's about when I stop. Okay, which, like I said, I would tell you that for me it's about 15 rounds of going around this this thing right here, my makeshift guide. Okay, so once I've gone around with my yarn about 15 times and I'm happy with what I have, I just grab, you know, the whole bunch. Well, you can cut your string first. Let's cut the string to make it easier. Cut the string and then grab your bunch and pull it out. Pull it from your square thingy, whatever it was you used to make your bow. Okay, try to make sure that it doesn't unravel. So at the end right here, you know, hold on to it if necessary, because you don't want your strings to come loose. All right, so there's my bow, right? And I find my middle, which is right here. And I go get my string again, and now I'm gonna go around. And again, the question, well, how many times around? The answer, once more, because beauty's in the eye of the beholder. How thick do you want that middle knot to be? You know, do you want it really thick? Do you want it really thin? Do you want it wide? You know, what are you looking for in your bow? That's how many times you go around. If you want it to pop up and look thick, if you want a thick knot, then go around more. I would tell you to, if nothing else, just, you know, stay in a row so that it looks neater, because if you just like all over the place, it doesn't look as good. It looks better if you stay neat and you go, you know, one right next to, you know, the yarn is one row right next to the other. That looks neater, and that is my opinion. That's not the gospel. Okay, so you finished rolling, and you should have 2 strings from, you know, when you started making this. Well, you should. So find, there's one and here's the other. Find one of them and you're gonna make a knot with it. Huh, my scissors would be good. Okay, so here are my scissors, and really you should have left a longer knot than I did. If necessary, just pull it out. It's okay. And for some reason, I guess it's because my yarn looks like this, because I pulled it from the inside, from here. It's probably better to pull it from here where your yarn is straighter. I pulled it from in here where it tends to be wrinkled, and that's probably why my bow looks wrinkled. So there's a thought, okay? Try not to pull it from there so that your bow can look nicer. And I'm going to make another one so you can see it, but the point right now is for you to see how I attached it. So I have 2 strings, and I cut here, and then I make a knot right here, and I make another knot, and then this is how I'm going to attach my bow, which this one looks really crazy, but let's not panic. Like I said, just make sure that you pull your yarn from the right side so that it looks nice like this and not crazy like this. All right, so then these 2 strings are what you're going to use to attach your bow, and just like the pom-poms, you might have to come back out with these strings and come around and attach it again, because it will tend to feel a little loose, and you don't want that, especially on a baby. So again, you know, you could use your fingers to feed this through like so, or you can use your crochet hook, and I tend to like my crochet hook. That's just the way I do things, you know, as the kids say, that's the way I roll. Okay, so take one of your strings and pull it in, and nothing wants to work for me today. And so your string is inside, which this one's easy to see because it's yellow. It's a contrasting color, so it's really a lot easier than the other thing was. And then just from another section, pull your crochet hook up and get your other string, like so. Good grief. Okay, so all right, so there you have it. Both strings are inside, and of course you're just gonna sew it on. I'm sorry, knot it in. So make your knot. Again, before you make that double knot, just make sure that your bow is where you want it to be. I don't even know why my bow came out so short this time. But the main point is I wanted to show you how to attach it. So if it's where you want it to be, just turn the hat back around and make a second knot here. I'm going to redo my bow, so I'm not going to make that second knot because I want to put a nicer one here. So that's why I'm not going to do that second bow. Okay, so that's how you make your Minnie Mouse hat. Now all you guys have to do is put your polka dots, and like I said, you can choose to sew on these little tiny pom-poms on the hat wherever you want, or you can put buttons. My daughter thinks the buttons look better, or somebody on our Facebook page actually just she weaved in some color into this area here to make for the in place of the pom-poms, because she didn't have the tiny pom-poms, and actually it looks pretty good. Okay, so there is your Minnie Mouse hat in non-Minnie Mouse colors, because I wanted to do something different, including your pom-pom ears, which I think work really good, and you could use it on a different animal hat. And here's a different way of making a yarn bow so that it takes less work because you don't have to knit. So I hope you guys liked my little tutorial on the Minnie Mouse hat. If you did, remember to give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, by all means, email me instead of a thumbs down and just tell me what you didn't like so I don't do it again. All right? And remember to subscribe to the channel. And until the next project, you guys be good. Ciao.